So I started an Instagram account called Fuck the 90s. It's important to have fun with the internet. I am not a big fan of social media, increasingly so. In fact, some days I consider deleting it all. If you followed me on Twitter for a long time, you will have noticed that I tweet less and less, and when I do, I'm more measured. I don't kick up a fuss or call people out or tell lots of jokes or stories. If I have a problem with someone or something, I deal with it in the real world, and if I have a joke or a story that's really good, why waste it broadcasting it to the ether when I can save it and turn it into something really great? But inevitably, it's a huge part of my work, and it's easy to forget that it can be fun. So I started an Instagram account where I post stupid nostalgia things and try and type like a teenager. Much in the same vein, I also run a Tumblr called Benecat Cumberbatch, where I exclusively post pictures of Benedict Cumberbatch disguised as cats. Over the last decade, I've amassed quite a few of these little things dotted around the internet. I'll post a few links in the description. Oh, reaching for my tea without losing my place on the floor. A pro. I also make a comic. If you've been following my work for a long time, you might know that in 2009, back when I was a student, I started a series of comic books. The series is called Captain Baculum, and it's about a ridiculous egomaniac who needs to save the world. Over 6 years since I started work on the first book, I am now nearly finished with the third and final installment. I've been working on it in relative secrecy for the last 3 months, and I'm not showing you any of it until the new year. I'm so excited for it to be finished, for a lot of reasons. I could never be bored of Baculum, but I do think it's a project that better reflects who I was as a student than who I am now. And the further away I get from that, the harder I think it's going to be to make it. I also feel a certain responsibility to myself to finish what I started. Plus, I've known since the very first page, more or less, how this story is going to end. I love these characters, and I want to see them get their conclusion. And the only person who can get them there is me. If all goes to plan, Captain Baculum Episode 3 will go to print and be on sale in the new year. And who knows, maybe I will start a new printed project. I don't know. I cook a lot. I like cooking. I enjoy cooking. I wish I did it more. I've discovered over the years that if you want to cook more, one of the best things you can do is go on a diet. I'm currently doing a form of paleo, which is like no carbs and lots of fresh vegetables and protein. Not because I need to lose weight, but because I want to feel good, particularly after a long trip to America where I ate nothing but burgers and cheese. And when you limit what you're allowed to eat and cook with, you are forced to innovate. In the last week, I have cooked with ingredients that I'd never heard of. I've been forced to learn about various substitutes and learn completely different techniques, and I've noted down a few favorites that I'm going to continue to cook. That's just one of my things. I like cooking. I write occasionally. Recently, I was approached by a publishing company working on a beginner's guide to YouTube vlogging, and I thought, if I don't do this, someone else is going to do it, and they're probably going to get it wrong. So I tried to write as many of the sections as possible. I'll find it. As a result, you can now get some of my thoughts and feedback on the whole YouTube thing in paper form. I did this section called A Brief History, this section called Types of Vlogs, Introducing YouTube, Creating Your Channel, Write Your Vlog, Write a Script, Planning Your Shots, Vlogging with Bing, with just the least flattering screenshot, live events, VidCon, control your brand, all of this, WordPress, direct mail marketing, my experience on YouTube, which is just all about me. Proud of that. I've also been taking part in a podcast recently, started by my friend Brian Ferenzi from 5 Second Films. It's called Is It Still Scary? It's available over on his channel, and I will link to it in the description. It's all about revisiting old horror films. We talk shop sometimes for up to an hour about how a film was made, how it looks, how it's held up, and the most important question, whether it can still scare a modern audience. And it's been a really nice change of pace from video blogging, which is talking to an empty room. It's allowed me to flex my dialogue muscles rather than my monologue muscles. And in among all that cooking, writing, drawing, social media, and podcasting, I find time to read, sleep, play video games, as well as the medium things and the big thing. I made this video because we're nearing the end of 2015, a very important year for me. I do a lot of things, but sometimes I don't fill you in very well. Just before I go, our store hitwithwrench.com is stocking its Christmas exclusives for 1 month only. We've picked our 3 favorite alternative Christmas sweater designs, including the fan favorite ducky sweater. They're available now. You should order soon if you want to get them for Christmas. There will be a link in the description alongside all the links to all the things that I have talked about.